Let's get into this. 8 locations, right? 7 in Atlanta, 1 in Charlotte. So I want to talk about like most people when they start to scale, they look at like different cities, right? You put a lot of locations in a relatively small area in Atlanta. What was the thought process behind like most people would think that's like oversaturation, right? Like
Yeah.
what's the thought process before expanding, really just drilling down on where you were?
Well, I think for the Big Days brand, what we was trying to do is control the market. Like you got all up north, you got Philly, New York, Jersey, Baltimore. They already got, cheesesteaks. They grew up off of them. It's been in the culture for a long time. So I wanted to bring cheesesteaks to the South, the Southeast, take over that whole situation. And I just was taking my time and I seen places that it was needed. Like wasn't even gonna put any more locations in Georgia, and then I put one in Lawrenceville. And Lawrenceville might be my highest grossing location. So it's like every time I think about leaving Atlanta, it's still spots that it still wants it. And right now, I feel good about leaving Atlanta because Charlotte, they showed out. We brought the food truck there, man. It was like, honestly, it was about 500 people online. And I was just like, they ready for a Big Dave's. I still control the market because it's in the Southeast. Wherever you put a restaurant at, you want to try to put like 2 or 3 of them there so that you can control the ordering demand. Like right now, if you're going through Cisco or US Foods or Gordon, any of those people that you're using, you want to be able to order large quantities so that you can control the ordering demand.
Talk about that. Can you break that down a little bit?
Yeah, so like for example, if right now, if one of my locations, and I'm gonna start out there, one of my locations did a couple 1,000 pounds of beef a week. If I can now control the market while ordering 15, 20,000 pounds, I now can get it at a lower cost. That helps out my bottom lines. So a lot of people don't know. They try to, everything is top line heavy, everything is sell, sell, sell. But in the real world, when the investor's looking at you and how to scale, they looking at your bottom line. They're looking at your four-wall contribution, your EBITDA, all those things make sense. So I knew nothing about a lot of these things till over the years, when I run into investors or different rooms or, just talking to individuals that's at a place where I'm trying to get to. Those are the things that that really mattered and resonated to me. So right now we controlling the market. We're trying to go to places that people really don't, they ain't paying attention to, but got a little bit of hope there because we know when we come there, we giving people jobs, we bringing up the community. And Big Dave's, is a food element, but we more of community driven. We more bringing people up.
So when you're talking about scaling, we're going from the gas station to 8 locations. You talked about P&Ls.
Yeah.
You talked about EBITDA. At what point did you start focusing in on that?
To be honest, when I started going out to get investment, I already knew I had the top line sales. I was always blessed with having customers. After Eve, she came out in 2015. I really ain't had a problem ever getting a customer because I already knew I had something good.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to wait for the world to see it. And when the world seen it, they supported it. And when somebody supports something, you can have so much of it, and then you still might not get a profit out of it because you don't know what you're doing. So for me, I just had to go get people that was smarter than me, that been in that field, that could help me, get to where I'm trying to go. So I would say 2020, 2021, I started focusing more on team strategy up top, corporate level. Like, what can help me get to the next level that I don't know? I already know I'm a mass marketer. People love me. They love my energy. There's nothing fake about me. I give my all to the people every single day, but nothing don't matter if you can't scale the business. And I didn't build no mom and pop. I built this for my dad to be all over the country, and that's what I'm gonna do.
So you said you raised capital, right?
Yeah.
Um, Walk us through that process. Like, when did you decide to raise capital, and what was the process of actually raising money?
I just started to raise capital in like 2020, 2021. And the process is really you getting all your books together. You got your deck, you got your plan on what your future look like, how many locations you're trying to open with this money that you're trying to raise. All of those things matter, but you can have something special and then somebody could say, you know what, you got something special, but you got to change some things around in your corporate. You got to do certain things. And for me, those were some of the things that I had to face because I got this hot business. I got everybody. I can't even walk the streets without people coming up to me, take a picture, or they tell me, I'm changing their lives, or some guys telling me I help them get out the street. So when somebody telling you right now you need to change something, you like, bro, I'm on fire right now. But you got to really tuck your ego in and say, listen, I got to get myself together for people to take me serious. So I've been getting my stuff together for a couple of years. I sat down and really just focus on, what's the best for me and the brand. And that's what I've been doing. And this year coming is going to be my biggest year of my career because this is my season. This is my time. And it's now.
Yeah, so when you're coming up the plan to take investment, you have in mind a certain number of restaurants you want to get to and a certain cost that's associated with trying to get to them. How did you equate to, is it strictly on sales or was it the bottom line, this was going to cost to be here, and how you tested the markets that you want to go to?
Right after the pandemic, we went through a crazy inflation. We cost. I used to be able to build a Big Days for $500,000. Now, it's north of 700. So things change with the market. So what we do now is we try to buy in bulk. Like right now, if I know I'm about to open up 5 locations, I'm now searching for 5 hoods. I'm looking for the fryers. I'm looking for all the grills all at the same time so I can control the price better. Because listen, all this goes into your EBITDA as a loss when you're building these locations. You could be making a bunch of money all year long, but if you building restaurants all year long, you taking losses all year long because that's what's on your taxes. So you got to know what's good for you and your brand on when you want to raise money and how you want to do it. So for me, I was in a kind of like a quicksand situation because I got something hot and now I got my landmark location doing really, really well and people knowing about everything I'm going. Now they saying, when is the next location opening? When you're doing good, just like with you guys, like they want to know what's the next thing y'all got coming. It's never enough. Even with yourself, some days you can wake up in the morning and be like, I'm doing good, but I could do better. And that's just the momentum I always had. And that's how I carry with the brand. And I think that's the reason why I never gave up. The number one thing for me in business, I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to listen. But I know that I'm meant to be here. And I know that any room I step in, I belong there. And that's the thing that people got to understand. Like, you can't go in no room begging. You can't go in no room asking. You got to come in a room knowing you belong there.
So talk about your Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It's so crazy. That happened by a mistake, honestly. We got asked to do training camp and we was doing real well.
Like catered training camp?
Yeah, just a player training camp. We brought the food truck there and it did really well. The lines was long. And, the opportunity came to say, what about you guys, coming in the stadium? And before we came in the stadium, I got a chance to talk to some high ups and I really just told them what I wanted. I told them we would change the culture in the stadium. I told them that we would be one of the highest grossing restaurants in the stadium. Everything I told them, we backed up so far. So I feel good about that. But I just wanted to come in there for the opportunity to say that I know that 65, 70,000 people come in these games on Sundays, soccer games, that might not be my demographics. And I have the opportunity now to show the world what I have. And I thought that was special by being in the stadium.
So how does that work? Let me just follow up. How does that work though? Because so a regular restaurant, you open 7 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever, right? A stadium might only be open 1 day a week or 2 days a week, depending on for a couple of hours, but it's 60,000 people that's coming in. So as a business owner, how's running that business different than running a regular restaurant?
It's actually a lot different because you got all these people that gotta get served at halftime. So you got a little window. So it actually helped my operations, to be honest, because when somebody order the food, they go pay for it. You passing them the food like, here you go. They taking their order. And in my brick and mortar locations, that helped out my operations because I remember times when people wait hours for their food. We get a line of 200-300 people. People be waiting 3-4 hours to get an order. But that's not no more because now my operations got tighter just from being in the stadium and hiring the right operators I needed to get me better. But right now in the stadium, when you order the food, you get it on the go. Like, they don't have to wait. It's already prepared. And I think that's what helped. That's how it make us so special in the stadium because a lot of places still are cooking the food. You got to wait for it. And we wanted to be special with that.
So how does this work from a standpoint that you're in a stadium? You get to lease your space because you went from the lines being so long and having one that they had to give you 2, and then they had to give you a 3rd location. So do you have to lease the spaces, and then there's a portion of the sales that goes back to the state? How does this work?
Yeah, they get a portion of the sales, but I got a good deal. I got a great deal. I could tell they wanted us there. But like I said, in life, if you don't ask for what you want, you will never get it. I came in there stern about what I wanted, and we backed it up. But it feels good right now that I can say that we have carts. Like literally, y'all know the carts. Like just like out there in New York on the corners, we got carts. And there's people with full-fledged restaurants in there. And we the king, you know, and that's how I feel like we're gonna do anywhere we go. And it's just me being humble, but I know what this brand represents. I know what the world been waiting for. And I know we got something that's real authentic that's never been out the tri-state. People tried to do what I've done and haven't been successful doing it because either they gave up because it got too hard or they couldn't find out how to get the product so far, you know, from up north. But I figured out all these things. It might have took me 8.5, almost 9 years, but it took KFC. He was like, what, he was 65 when he came out with his business. So a lot of these people, you know, they took their time to make something special. Everybody thinks something's supposed to happen overnight. I'm pretty sure y'all was doing this podcast and stuff early before people even knew y'all existed, but they only gonna see what y'all do right now. And I feel like that's what a lot of my story, I took people with me. Like I let them see the gas station location. I let them see me coming in there 7 days a week, grinding, not a lot of employees. I let them see the imperfections, and now they see perfection. They can see where you grew from.